All right guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. In this video, my buddy Milton and I got together last year. We wanted to compare the PDK 911 versus the manual 911. We both have 991.1 GTSs. They're both great cars. Believe me, there's no doubt about it. But we wanted to talk about why we made the purchase choice that we did. So in this video, we're going to explore PDK versus manual, 2 points of view, and drive amazing Porsches. So I hope you enjoy. All right guys, welcome to another video. This time I'm here with my buddy Milton, and he's brought his 2016 911 GTS, and I've got my 2015 911 GTS, and we're going to compare the two cars because you know what? The major difference between these two cars is the transmission. Milton has the 7-speed manual, I've got the 7-speed PDK, and we're going to kind of discuss the difference between the two, what we like about either one, what we don't like, and why we made the purchases that we did. You know, why I picked PDK, why Milton. Exactly. Everything else about the car, as far as the drivetrain and engine, is the same. We're both running the 3.8 liter naturally aspirated 6-cylinder engine, putting out about 430 horsepower. Both have the same torque, so even though the years are different, structurally the cars are the same. Both have the wide body, and both are two-wheel drive. So even though they are wide body cars, as you know, the GTS is the wide body from the 4S, even though these two are two-wheel drive. Everything structurally about the car is the same, but there are some differences between how the two cars are spec'd out, particularly on the interior. So let's take a look inside of Milton's car. All right guys, here we are. We're looking at Milton's interior. He's got a beautiful espresso and cognac brown interior, but the star of the show is this manual transmission with the Numeric short shift kit installed on it. We're going to compare this with the PDK. And here's my agate gray GTS. Let's take a look inside. Welcome to the interior of my car. I have the GTS interior package, which includes Alcantara, carbon fiber inserts, as well as red deviated stitching. And of course, this car is spec'd with the 7-speed PDK transmission. So let's get into it. All right guys, so let's jump in these cars and see what we think. Milton and I have been having a lot of fun out here on these backcountry roads, and these GTSs are fantastic out here. So I'm jumping in. I'm still in my own GTS with the 7-speed paddle shifters, and I've been experimenting a lot on this run, much more so than I normally have. Just let me set the stage for you. The roads out here are very sweeping and not as tight and twisty as some of the routes I normally take. So I've had to change how I work with the PDK, at least in my view. So when I have it in sport, you know, it handles pretty well. I mean, the shifts are pretty quick and pretty responsive, but I found that oftentimes it's just not quite in the right gear. So I take it all the way up to Sport Plus, which engages PASM. The throttle mapping is much more aggressive. I'm in Sport Plus right now, but as you can hear, it really holds on to the gear. Like I'm holding on to almost 6,000 RPM as I do this sweeper, and it's just not letting go. You know, it's in its most aggressive setting to keep the engine on full boil no matter what. So as I'm cruising right now behind Milton, I'm up at 4,000 or 5,000 RPM in Sport Plus. Now, of course, we're not hitting it really hard right now. We were earlier, but in this case, it seems like, can you hear that engine? Holding it up at 7,000 RPM. It feels amazing. Let me just interrupt this video just to say, I realize Sport Plus is optimized for the track. I have used Sport Plus on a track. The computer is so smart about picking what gear you should be in. It is truly awesome on track. Now back to the video. But you don't necessarily need the engine boiling all the way up at 7,000. So what I found is the right thing to do, which is why, wow, this is I put it into manual so that I can control the shifting myself, and it's much better. So I keep it in Sport Plus, keep PASM turned on, but then I control the shifting with the paddles, and the shifting, as you can hear, is seamless. It's just so quick. The shifting is so fast. Listen to this downshift. It's just immediate. It is really, really incredible technology. And PASM is great. It just holds the car in flat in position. And the shifts are so fast and so seamless. So you can really keep your focus on the drive itself. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome. This car is just so good in the turns. So good, so good. But that's not to say that the PDK isn't smart. It is very smart. It's just that with these roads that are so long and sweeping, I prefer to take control myself. If you're on a really tight, twisty back road, the Sport Plus is never in the wrong gear. It's always in the right gear. On a track, Sport Plus is always in the right gear. It's very smart and intuitive about your driving conditions, where your throttle is, and what you're doing in the car. It just always, for some reason, has a smart brain to figure out what gear you should be in based on the conditions. Wow, that was a beautiful sweeper right there. All right, I'm going to put it back into automatic. We're still in Sport Plus. And again, it's really, really smart. It just keeps, in Sport Plus, the PDK just keeps that engine on full boil. And what we're doing right now that the road has opened up, it's fantastic. It's just, the engine is right there up at 5,500 RPM, right there in the sweet spot of the torque. It's awesome. So in automatic Sport Plus, if you've got enough room to let it behave and do what it wants to do, it keeps the engine right in the sweet spot of the RPM. It's pretty awesome. Oh, this is awesome. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Oh. Now I'm going to put it in Sport. Just to explain the difference. Now I kept PASM turned on, and you see the shifts are a little lazier. So on these big sweepers, I'm down in 3,000 RPM. The downshift is not as aggressive, which is to be expected. It keeps the engine, right now I'm in 6th gear, you know, so Sport is definitely not aggressive. You know, you can go into manual while it's in Sport, keep PASM turned on, and it feels good. Now, I do think that the exhaust mapping is different in Sport versus Sport Plus. In Sport, you get more crackles and pops. So you may want to keep it in Sport to enjoy the sound of the engine. Turn PASM on to have the body control you need, but keep it in manual on big sweeping roads like this. Now, if this was a much tighter road, the automatic setting would probably be great. It's just that now that we're doing sweepers, it's good to have that manual control. Listen to this downshift. Yeah, PDK is just, it's phenomenal. I have to say, the PDK is pretty phenomenal. It's pretty awesome. Back in automatic, coming up on some traffic. And the 911 GTS is also just, I can't say it enough, phenomenal. The handling of this car is just near perfection. All right, well, these are my thoughts on the PDK. I love it. It's flexible. You can manipulate the settings based on what your conditions are. If you're in a really tight country road or on a big sweeping track like Watkins Glen, I tend to leave it in automatic. On a country road like this one, where you're getting a little mixture of both, the PDK is very smart and very competent, but sometimes Sport Plus is a little too frenetic in automatic. So I take it out, put it in a manual, and I'm able to keep the revs right where I want them to be. So yeah, it's a great transmission. It is so quick and so smooth. I really love the PDK. It's awesome. But now let's see what Milton thinks of the PDK. And when I get back into that manual, maybe I'll have a change of heart. All right, so let's make a switch.